Hi and welcome back to another episode of In the Same Boat with Aditya Joshi. I am your host Aditya Joshi. I know we are a few episodes in now, so I just thought I'd reiterate a little bit कि मैंने ये शो शुरू क्यों किया था. तो मुझे हमेशा से लगता था कि मोर और लेस हम जो आर्टिस्ट होते हैं वो वी आर काइंड ऑफ इन द सेम बोट. हमारे काफ़ी सारे प्रॉब्लम सेम होते हैं, स्ट्रगल्स थोड़ी बहुत सेम होती हैं, हर एक का बैकग्राउंड बहुत अलग होता है विच मेक्स इट वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. बट हमेशा ऐसे लगता है कि वी एज ह्यूमंस एज आर्टिस्ट हम ज़्यादा सिमिलर हैं दैन डिफरेंट. So I just wanted to explore that. I wanted to get to know the people that are around me a little better because I think and I feel that they have wonderful stories. Abhi tak aapne episodes dekhe honge, so I'm sure you must have noticed that they have a lot of fun things to say. And with that thought, I brought this show to life, and I hope you are watching it. I hope you're enjoying it because I'm sincerely having a lot of fun bringing this to you with my guests. So speaking of guests, our guest today is a writer. He's an actor, a director, and he is absolutely in love with theatre. I can say that with certainty. He has recently directed an amazing short film called Domestic Help, which is doing fantastic in the film festival circuit. Let's move on and introduce our first guest, Raveesh Jaiswal. Hi Raveesh. Hi.
Thank you.
How are
Good
you?
to be here. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here. I think this is to start us off, I think this is the first time we're meeting.
Absolutely.
We have
physically, in
person.
Yeah,
in person we're meeting for the first time.
And I know you since over 2 years now?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We've spoken on phone, we've texted, but I think this is the first time.
I've directed you in a play.
Yes,
so
you have directed me in a play which is virtual. Actually, that is, I think, a great place to start because Bomaby Theater Company, I remember, COVID ke time pe, I think just khatam hua tha COVID, or it was like in that limbo period. Just started. It had just started.
Yeah.
And I saw this post from Bomaby Theater Company, which is his company, or they were doing online plays, and I was extremely fascinated by that concept because they were going to be on Instagram Live. If you haven't seen it, please go and check out all those plays. They're still there. They're absolutely wonderful. So I do want to ask, how did that come about? Like, how did you reach that stage where you said, okay, I'm going to start this company and this is what I'm going to do first?
Yeah. So Adi, the point is that I always wanted to do something of my own. I was very clear, and I was just maybe waiting for the right time. But yeah, I mean, coming from a traditional family where you need to have a backup if you want to explore the arts and stuff. So bhai padhai vadai kar lo, thoda basic job le lo, backup bana lo. So that was my approach, and studying and then getting a good job, and then obviously वो क्रिप तो रहता है that you really need to do something what you always wanted to do. So, and obviously entrepreneurship kind of fascinated me. I wanted to do something on my own, and I thought अगर मैं इसको अपने पैशन के एरिया में करूँ, so it will be much better.
Right.
So Bomaby Theater Company on paper I think came about in 2019, and I must say that whatever I've been able to do, I give maximum credit to 3 people in my life. My parents, who supported me in everything. Right. They just told me, बेटा fail नहीं होना, मतलब engineering MBA तुम सब पास होते जाओ, job वॉब ले लो, बाकी fail नहीं होना, बाकी do whatever you want to do. And then my wife. I mean, she's been a biggest pillar of strength, and luckily she comes from theatre. She's an architect, but I met her while I was doing theatre in Nagpur, and that's how we got to know each other. And then after getting married, one thing I told her very clearly, कि boss देखो, I have a great job and all of that, but ये ऐसा थोड़ा टेम्पररी है. So there might be a time and I'll just कि अभी तो मैं resign कर दिया हूँ.
Right.
And obviously having a very lavish paying job in the corporate world, but she was there throughout.
Right.
And I always shared this thought with her कि यार ये करना है, and she supported me. And then we registered the company in 2019.
Right.
And there was a play which we had to do in 2020, early 2020. I'd gone to London in December to do a short course on screen acting. And वहाँ से जब आया तो I wrote a play. The 6 p.m. Struggler, and we were ready with the play. April की date मिल गई थी, April 2020, and then the pandemic came in. So कुछ हो नहीं पाया, and then we were a bit disheartened because मेरा plan बिल्कुल full था कि यार once I do this play, then I'll quit my job and then I'll see where I can take Bomaby Theater Company. So, and she was there in her job, so luckily she was there to support. So वो एक tension नहीं था, but I didn't want to use my savings at the end of the day. So I thought she's there. she's supporting and she was a great support. तो फिर job छोड़ने तक की बात आई नहीं because pandemic उससे पहले आ गया. And when pandemic came, things got a bit disturbed for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
वो play हो नहीं पाया. But then I thought यार I had two options कि एक तो BTC बंद कर दो, वैसे भी शुरू नहीं हुआ है, on paper ही है, थोड़ा बहुत Instagram channel वैनल बना लिया था, तो ठीक है कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. But then I thought yeah, let's try to do something. And then a couple of my team members suggested, can we do this? I think that's a great idea. So doing live performances on Instagram live, and that too keeping it very short. यार लोगों का attention span is going down and down. So मैंने सोचा ना, I've been a big fan of short plays actually as an actor also. I love performing short plays. तो मैंने बोला ये करते हैं. So that's how it started, yeah. And as you know, we did couple of shows internally with my internal team members. Picked up very well. And then we opened it to you all. Yeah. Because I think by the time we staged our third or fourth production online, it was becoming known. People were covering us. Hindustan Times, Times of India reached out to write an article and stuff. Yeah. So मैंने सोचा let's open it to everyone, and people started reaching out for collaboration कि भाई can we be a part of this? Okay. So I thought of theatre project. That's how we got you.
Yeah, because I still remember I was so intrigued by the idea कि Instagram live पे करने मिलेगा, because it was thoda, I don't know, but at that time it kind of felt like, oh, so we're going to have a live audience the way it is in theatre. It's not just going to be like कि अच्छा है ये film किया और ये हो गया, डाल दिया, खत्म. That nervousness of still having a live audience.
Yeah. Like, because the first play when we opened, I performed and I had a lot of fun. Yeah. Because even though you are like confined in your own room, but still there are people watching you live, like you're on stage. So it was great fun.
Yeah, it definitely was. And it was, I mean, I'm sure it must have been a challenging process to even, select the team kind of, because it was done in a very interesting way. All those plays are originals, I believe. All the writers have written them themselves, and all the actors that performed were also selected. I mean, ऐसे कुछ randomly कुछ नहीं हुआ था. I'm sure you must have gone through.
Just to tell you about his talent, so he was one of the only 20 actors selected out of 180 people who applied. Yeah. So when I kind of opened this floor and said we are doing this theatre project, create a buzz, I was not prepared to handle, like obviously I handled it well, my team, but it was a bit overwhelming because when I put out a word and said that there's a week time, people who want to apply, please reach out. So we said that we are looking for like English playwrights, 10-minute short plays, and English speaking actors. So because I've trained in English theatre, English comes natural to me. Right. So I just kept it English. I think 75 scripts came along. And then we selected 10 and 180 actors reached out and we selected 20. So it was quite overwhelming, but I was very happy and I thought I'm making some impact, which was cool.
Yeah, definitely. Because even I remember in our first meeting that we had, like online on Zoom with everybody, I was actually really happy and impressed, because a lot of times ऐसे होता है कि Instagram पे आप कुछ देखते हो and then it's like ठीक ही होता है वो, इतना कुछ समझ में आता है कि पैसे के लिए कर रहे हैं whatever. But actually it wasn't like that. It was so well organized, and itna wo COVID ka period jo chal raha tha, like there was nothing to do. It was the first time when literally nothing to do. You couldn't do anything. तो उसमें एक थोड़ा सा अच्छा purpose आ गया, वो बहुत मजा आया. And I think I can speak for almost everybody in that group, because I could see that they were all having fun with that. So I think that was a great initiative. And do you feel that this is something that you should continue? Because I think you should continue doing that.
Yeah, primarily I'll tell you, Adi, it was like obviously to, like you said, you guys had fun. We had even more fun, and we found the purpose before than you, because obviously it was very depressing times for all of us, and I thought, yaar, ye karna chahiye. We will also be engrossed, and it was also a brand building activity that people got to know us, Bomaby Theater Company, what we tried to do. Right. Yeah, I mean, then luckily, things got better for us. Like after theatre project, a writer from New York City reached out to me. I think she saw one of the plays, and then she told me that I've seen your work. I am a short play writer from New York City. Can you like do something? Can you produce one of my plays? Right. That was my dream, because I always want to do international work. People I look up to are like Meera Nair or a Shekhar Kapoor. Right. That's the kind of work I aim to do, collaborate and work. So it just came on my lap, and I was so happy to see her message. I said, yeah, please send your scripts, man. I'll pick one. And then वो जो सोने पे सुहागा वाली बात होती है कि भाई she said कि यार you pick up my scripts, you see which play works for you, you cast your actors and you do it. I'm like, yeah, virtually karna hai, so let's take your actors. I direct from Bombay. You have your actors in New York City. Let's cast and do it.
Right.
It happened. It took off very well. So, you know.
Yeah, no, because I have seen that.
Okay.
I did catch that also, and like I just hope that keeps going, because I think as actors, कुछ ना कुछ करते रहना जरूरी है. You know, like there's a I don't know how to say this, but there's a very soulful hunger that you have as an artist, or matlab, even if it's not going to technically, like, you know, amount to anything, but I really hope you keep doing that, because it is like, even if it's just a week or 2 weeks long, it's a lot of fun to give yourself to the craft and keep keep refining it. और लगने के लिए ऐसा लोगों को लग सकता है कि इतना क्या है इसमें, और you know, like whatever, घर से ही कर रहे हो. But वो एक एक्टर के लिए बहुत मजेदार चीज होती है.
Yeah, there was a preparation which you had done. It was not something कि यार उठ के कर लिया. You need to know your lines. You need to.
That is the best thing about it. Like, everything was exactly as theater. We were live, but the only thing was that we were confined to this half Instagram. What do you call that? Space. उतना ही frame था हमारा, and everything we had to do just through that. After that, do you audition now? Like, are you auditioning, or is it something that you are, you just want to focus on BTC?
As an actor, you say?
Yeah, as an actor.
No, I stopped auditioning. I did a lot of ads of very good brands, be it a Surf Excel, Amazon, Britannia.
Yeah.
When I was like in my second year of college, and maybe a year passing after that. But to be very frank, I got a bit bored of advertisements, and yeah, usually I don't know. Yeah, they made me a father at the age of 23. So I was like, okay, but ठीक है यार, वो शौक के लिए कर रहे थे. I was in the second year and all of that. But then over the time, yeah, to be very frank, and that's how, I realized over time in my life, especially when I went to my first corporate job after passing out from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, I was 24. Right. And I never thought I'll go back to my hometown after studying in Bombay at TISS. But Seat Tires, the brand, they were starting a new factory in Nagpur, my hometown. And for some reason, they thought maybe sending a local guy there for a couple of years might be a good idea. Yeah. And it was a startup project. So it was a greenfield factory, what we call it. It was a barren land. And we were just 8 people in the team. I was there as the management trainee. And after 1 year, I got confirmed as the factory HR manager. The experience of working with all these senior people, and then over the span of 3 years I spent there, I recruited 1,200 people myself. I was 23. I had 3 direct reportees who were like older to me. Okay. So the experience of managing them, learning from them, somehow I correlated with direction. That's how it started. Like, I thought, yeah, in the factory I do the same thing. I have a team, I manage them. We have a vision, we need to fulfill. I take them together and do it. That's what direction is. So that's how, and luckily when I went to Nagpur, I had my theatre group there, Stagecraft Theatre, where I trained. I started directing short plays there. And that's how my interest in direction started increasing. And then over the time, when I started producing plays, I was actually able to use all my management learnings to do that. Be it like getting together a team to make a film or everything. So that's how, the direction and the producing part, like, took me. Right. But still, like, acting is my first love. The 6 p.m. Struggler, like, we recently did shows. So, I still want to be in touch. I'm
going to be coming for your upcoming shows. But I'm sure you'll keep doing them. So, please keep an eye out for...
So, actor will never die. I'll keep acting. But, I know acting on camera is a bit more lucrative. Yeah. But I find solace on stage, acting on stage. But directing a film, it's interesting than a play.
But but I'm sure, like, there must be, like, we'll get to your film and all of that, but I'm sure there must be a little bit of a difference when you are thinking, like, in your thinking in terms of directing a play versus in terms of directing a film. Because I mean, even though there are multiple elements involved in both, the medium is so different that I think the vision changes. So how is that for you, directing plays versus directing films?
Here, a very simple answer to this. So play has always been an actor's medium. Right. It's very clear. And film is a director's medium. I think film is so visual. I think the only couple of reasons I was able to make my first film at a good level, and the success it had in film festivals and all of that, as a theatre director or a theatre person, I feel that if you really want to be a good film director, two things are very important. First is that you need to be a people person.
Right.
Because in film, as a director or a producer, you have to deal with a lot of stakeholders.
Yes.
Unlike a play where everybody comes together at one point of time and works as a team, film has a different teamwork altogether. People working in silos, but you are the common link.
Yeah.
So that's something you need to know, how to manage people, how to manage time, how to run a project. It's at the end of the day, it's a project. And then second is like your vision. So I feel that the film came out well because as a theatre or a storyteller, I knew exactly what I wanted. My frames, and obviously I did a lot of self-reading. I don't come from a film school, but I read a lot. I read more than my MBA books, frankly. And then I knew the basics, but all the technicians I was able to work. One thing I think I was very clear in telling them ki mujhe kya chahiye. I was very clear. I think that helped them.
Yeah.
So you need to see your vision in terms of the visuals. Unlike a play.
Right.
Play is more from the text. Film is more visual.
Right.
So I think that's the basic difference in directing a play and a film. Yeah.
I mean, obviously now that we're talking about directing films, Domestic Help is the film that you did. This is your directorial debut.
Yeah.
And I watched it. Thank you so much for sending me the link. And I just have to say कि short films में ये दिखता है काफी, but I don't see them in long format films where there's a lot of ठहराव. बहुत ऐसे time लेके हर एक moment को, frame को, उसको let it sink in. So that way it's like I found that absolutely phenomenal. And then I mean I don't want to give too much away, but overall it was like you know, even with the end, it was really beautifully done. So how did that film come about? Like how did it come to you? Because I know that it's been adapted from a play. So again, why the decision of shooting it versus putting it up on stage?
So again, actually, to answer that question, we go back to our first question. It's linked to all of you from the theatre project. So while we got some success in terms of producing plays on Instagram, which you were a part of, like I said sometime before in our conversation, that a writer from New York City reached out and we did the play with them, American actors. Very good reception. And then, you know, I always had this fascination कि New York में काम कर लिया, अब LA में try करते हैं. I mean, LA, New York, obviously. So, and London. So, these three cities are like always very close to me. So then I just checked with Sarah Congress. She was the playwright from New York City. I asked her directly, do you have a friend in LA? You know, I would love to collaborate with people from LA. And that changed my life. And she connected me to this awesome playwright. I can say till date, she's the best writer I've worked with.
Okay.
So Julianne Jigor, she has done her master's in dramatic writing from I think Craig Millen University, and she connected.
Okay.
And luckily she had watched my New York play. She liked it. And I told her that this is what I'm looking forward to. Do you have some of your short plays which we can produce and we can collaborate?
Right.
So she shared 3-4 scripts with me. One was the play which we did called Ride Home. I don't know if you saw that. It was very interesting. Till date, I feel that's my best online play, frankly. It was about two people going in a car and having a conversation. So the way we produced it was, I made my actors sit in their real cars in their garage. And the frame was such that it looked like they're talking to each other in the same car, but they were not.
Oh, okay.
So one of the actors called it safe theatre. It was the height of the pandemic in America. And that play worked out very well. And, you know, again, like I said, the impact which we were able to create. One of the actors in that, Julio Hansen, he has worked with Grammy-winning artists. The second guy, Anthony Rotowitz, so he was the stand-in for Adam Driver in Marriage Story. Oh. So those were the kind of people I was able to interact sitting in Chembur.
Wow. So I think that is one of the great things about the pandemic, that it kind of opened up the world
absolutely.
Everyone.
And like we had our rehearsal sessions. I used to do rehearsals with them online. They're very punctual and everything. You guys were also. So luckily after that play, when she shared certain scripts with me, I took Ride Home because I thought Instagram ke hisab se that should work better. There was one more play which she shared, which was Domestic Help. And when I read that play for the first time, I was hooked. I was hooked till the end. And what is happening? And then, like I was telling you when we were having a chat before the interview, that when I read the play for the first time, I thought, will it work as a play? Like the text is so good and intriguing. Right. I think I should make a film on it. And while I was producing and directing Ride Home, this was a thought in my mind. यार domestic help पे picture बनाएंगे, but I didn't want to jump the gun. I said कि Ride Home अच्छे से कर लेते हैं. Let Julian understand that I can do stuff well, And then after Ride Home, then I reached out to her saying that, this is something which I want to do. You won't believe, she wrote this at one go, one night in a college, and it was never produced.
Oh.
Then I told her it was maybe waiting for me to make a film on it. And she was thrilled.
Yeah.
And one interesting thing I'll tell you, so as a director, when I read the play, I started adapting it to a screenplay. So once she agreed to collaborate, willing to share her story with me, I had a lot of questions, Adi, based on the script.
Yeah.
You have seen the film, you know how open-ended it is,
Yes.
why things are happening, why this, why that.
Yeah.
I had a page of questions for Julianne. Julianne, as a director, I appreciate the writer the most. I believe if you are there, we are there. That's as simple as that.
Right.
I had a lot of questions. And then I asked her all the questions. She didn't have answer to any question. I'm like, why this? She's like, I just felt so. Why this? It just came. I'm like, okay. So she wrote a brilliant piece, but she couldn't justify. I think it was intuition. Brilliant writer. But then everything came on me that how I want to kind of decipher it.
Yeah.
So that's how Domestic Help came about. And again, it was through the pandemic. And I'm happy that it's a film now. So that's the journey.
It is. It has been lovely. But short films in general, they're not, I don't know how to put it in any other words, but they're not very lucrative. Like I remember we had a small conversation about the short films. Like I had also just produced a short film. And we had a short conversation. And like, how was your experience producing that? Because like as much fun as I had producing a short film, I think funds is usually a very big problem when it comes to shorts. Well, if you ask me, putting your own money in a short film, bad idea. So how did what was that aspect of getting together, because your team is incredible, you got to work with an absolutely incredible team. So how was that journey of getting everything and everyone together, including like getting the funds for it, because it's a really well made, production quality is very high. मतलब ऐसे काफी बार festivals में होता है कभी कभी when you go and watch those films, कि क्या है यार, मतलब क्या ही किया है तुमने, but ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं लगा. And I'm saying this very honestly, did not feel like a first-time director had done it. It absolutely did not feel like it. Everything had meaning. Every frame was visually speaking to me, and it was just very fantastically done. So how was that, like basically producing it?
It's been tough. It was a tough process. It was I should say Domestic Help is my film school.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot. Like I said that I was the most inexperienced person in the team, but I was leading the ship. So the experience was awesome. So Adi, I quit my full-time corporate job in 21 in April, and obviously I was like, it's been 6 years and I always wanted to do like something, not being stuck in a full-time job. My first thought after quitting was that I really wanted to make a film, because that is something which was very close to me. And I always wanted to diversify myself from a theatre to film.
Right.
Not acting per se, I just wanted to make it, like produce and direct it. That was my like aim. And luckily then, after a couple of months, I met Julianne. So, God, I mean, everything coming together for you.
Yeah.
So at least I had the script. I adapted it, got the screenplay ready. And then, one thing which was very clear in my mind, Adi, was that since you talk about funds and all of that, I'm happy where the film is now. This is exactly the way I had thought about this.
Right.
I could have put in a bit of money out of my own pocket, few lakhs of rupees, but I was very clear that my first film has to be of a very superior quality. It should be a film which should be able to stand in a lot of festivals, international, national film festivals, and the production quality should be high so that any OTT or any distributor can pick it up.
Yeah.
If they like the story and they like the treatment. So, I think the first cut of budget which I did was around 23 lakhs.
Okay.
That was my first cut budget. And then I obviously started building a team parallelly. It took me like 5 months to raise the funds, but eventually I secured an investor and I raised 30 lakhs to make the film.
Okay.
And that was justified because the kind of people I wanted to work with, the kind of setting I wanted for this film, was expensive. That was for sure. And obviously I was not there to like earn my money or my director or producer's fee. It was my thing.
Yeah.
And money was not a thing for me. I just wanted to raise good funds to make the film. Again, thanks to my corporate background, I knew a lot of people, a lot of HNIs. And I had a credibility in the corporate world because coming from one of the premier colleges of the country and working in the best of the corporates gave me that exposure. And touchwood, my reputation in the corporate has been a bit sincere. Like, he's a nice guy, he works well, he's good. So I was able to reach out to such people and share my vision with them. And finally it got through. And you know, the kind of funding I raised, many people then in the industry, our industry, they were like, "You're lucky dude. How did you do it?"
Yeah. I mean, that is raising, because raising funds for especially for a short film, it's extremely tough.
But you know, I'll add to this. So one reason that why I was able to get that kind of money as well, again, drawing from my corporate experience of building a team and working with a team, I was very sure that apart from putting out a word that this is the script, and I'm a first-time filmmaker. First of all, I don't come from film school. I don't know how to make films. Still, I'm ambitious enough to ask that kind of money ki bhai, I come from theatre, but I want to do this. So one learning which I always kept with me from the corporate world is that the team does the work. If you're a leader, you need to know things which your team doesn't know, and you need to let go a lot of things which your team knows, and don't boss around. They know it better. That's why you hire them. So this is a learning which I had in corporate world. I still follow it. I was able to make a great team. So that, I think, also resulted in the fact that the investors had the trust in me. So like I said, my DP, Prateek, so he's a FTI alum. And 2020, his film was the only Indian film to win at Cannes Film Festival in the Cine Foundation category. It's a beautiful film, Cat Dog. He kind of shot it, and it was at Cannes winning, and he was there to receive the prize with the director. So when you have such people, and you know, interestingly, like it happened with Theatre Project. When I put out a word on Instagram, now BTC Instagram has been like, wonderful things have happened to me. I just put out a post saying that now, after making short plays, we are making a short film. Very, you know, just announcing it. And clearly mentioning that we are looking for cinematographers. Because I thought, ideally, when you make a film, now I know the process. First, you need to get a producer, EP and all of that. But that time, I had my different thoughts. Ki yaar, cinematographer na pehle, we need to have someone. He's the guy, he's the person, or he's the woman to do this. I put out a word, and very pompously I wrote there ki we are only looking for DPs whose films have won at international national film festivals. I put it out. Within 10 days, I got a response I was not prepared for, again, like just like Theatre Project. People from FTI applied, people from London Film School applied, Prague Film School applied, the DP of Kota Factory, he's a very nice guy, I met him, Jaren Paul, he applied. Interestingly, the production head of Whistling Boats applied, Miss Anuradha, she's a very nice lady, I met her. And I met 6-7 people in person. I was like, great. Okay, there's so many people willing to work with me. Maybe they must have checked out my previous work, at least theatre, my background, whatever. And they thought maybe this guy is talking serious stuff. And luckily, after meeting so many people, then Prateek was one of them. But when I met all of them, I shortlisted Prateek because Prateek, for this film, I thought his sensibilities matched. And also with his experience of winning Cannes and all of that, that comes with it. So that when you put out something for an investor, you say, this is the team I have worked with. Then apart from him, like I said, my music director was Rohan Gokhale, who did music for Hirani's film Sanju. So I had another credible name in the team. Then I had a brilliant guy, Lochan Kanvinde. He did the sound design. He won an IFA for Tanaji. So he did the sound design for Tanaji. So I think when you have such people in the team and you put it out and say that, you know, we are doing this, people think that, yaar, ye banda kuch to serious baat kar raha hai, and we should back him. So I think that worked for me, and I was able to kind of do that.
I think there's ये team और इसका बहुत मायने रखता है because यहाँ पे कैसे होता है, मतलब the reason I also started my company was because थोड़ा सा कैसे होता है ना कि दोस्त में जब करते हैं कि हाँ यार चल यार करते हैं यार ऐसे कर, वो कभी होता नहीं है. Like I have the strong belief now that like even with this show, I think you need to just sort of set your foot down and say, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I need a good team on my on my side. And it's actually very interesting to see that your corporate job brought so much in to filmmaking that maybe somebody who has been to film school might not be able to have that talent or that foresight, so to say, to sort of put up a team, like you said, ki the team needs to do the work. You need to know, like, they know that stuff. You have to be sure that they know their stuff. And you need to know a little more than that. So, like, how was the transition between saying ki I'm going to stop doing this, I'm going to stop doing my corporate job, which is so steady, so safe, like usme, if nothing else, at least it's steady.
Right.
And then moving to this sort of, completely unstable, unrealistic, and weird industry.
Right.
Like, what was going through your mind as you were doing? Like you said, your wife supported you a lot, your parents supported you, but आपके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा था when you, like, as you were making that decision or after you made that decision?
Right. I think there are, like I said, couple of people I look up to in the industry. I also forgot to mention one name when it specifically comes to this kind of thing. यार वो क्या होता है when you see people of similar background doing something crazy, obviously you're not as talented as them, but if you feel that 10% भी इनके जैसा अगर कुछ कर लो. So I'm talking about Shekhar Kapoor and Mani Ratnam. Shekhar Kapoor is a chartered accountant. And he makes films now. So that's an encouragement. Mani Ratnam did his MBA Finance from Jamnalal Bajaj Management School in Bombay, one of the best in the country. So he's an MBA Finance and he made Dil Se and all that stuff. So when you look at these people, you feel ki yaar, theek hai, it's been there, very old, times were different, but you get a bit of encouragement ki yaar, if they can do it, hum kam se kam 5-6% to inka kar hi sakte hain, kuch na kuch. So that was something which kept me going. Ki nothing, and I believe, Adi, personally, nothing is impossible.
True.
You need to work out your ways and you need to do it. Because when I look back of my journey, sometimes I'm not able to digest I made such a film with such people, frankly. But it happened. So, to be very frank, this comes a lot to me. ये बहुत common question है. कोई भी interview या कहीं कोई juniors पूछते हैं.
I'm sure this is because I think I was talking about your film with my parents and I was like, yes, ऐसे जिनके साथ मैंने वो Instagram का play किया, he said this film and they were like, अच्छा क्या? I was like, ऐसे बात करते करते वो आ गया कि नहीं उनका तो like job था corporate and then my parents were so shocked. They were like, corporate पूरा छोड़ दिया? I said as far as I know, हाँ.
No, so I'll give you more shock. So obviously without sounding too pompous and self-indulgent. So luckily I was maybe talented enough to study from one of the premier schools. So I did my master's in human resource management and labor relations from Tata Institute of Social Sciences. It's one of the best HR schools in Asia Pacific. In India, apart from TISS, XLRI Jamshedpur, these two are considered to be the best HR schools in the country. They are actually above IIMs. So I had two of my classmates who left IIM Bangalore and Calcutta and came to TISS to study HR. And I mean, so I was just reading the placement report last week. My junior batch, the batch which passed out, the average package was 27 lakhs per annum. So that's the kind of money which we get. And I have worked for 8 years. So you can do your math. But I'm just saying
Thankfully,
that...
I'm bad at it.
the thing is that when I was about to do this, many of my colleagues were like, what are you doing? And that too at the height of pandemic. So when people ask me, what's the craziest thing you have done? I said, I left my lucrative job at the height of the pandemic. So, but like I said, due support to my wife and my parents.
Right.
That was the thought. But when that happened, sorry, I forgot the question.
No, I said ki, what was going through your mind? Like, jaise hi aap, when you made the decision of as you were doing it, was there a lot of internal screaming going on that, whoa, I don't know what I'm doing? Or was it like, no, I'm pretty sure?
No, I think once I read Julian's script and I adapted it to a screenplay, I was very sure, Adi, what I wanted. And I still have those notes in my phone. I literally narrated the screenplay along with the camera angles and the frames to myself on my phone.
Okay.
This was like when I completed the screenplay. I didn't have Pratik actually in the team, but I was so sure that where the camera I wanted, how it will happen. So I think that's how things worked for me because as a director and a producer, I was very clear what I wanted. And that's how, and then slowly after raising funds, getting a team together, slowly, I think things happened. And we took a lot of time here. I mean, post-production took almost like 10 months. But it was also learning for me. We edit something, didn't like it, opened it, edit again. And I literally had people, why this cup again? Why that? Like, okay. And I was able to learn, frankly. So I think one thing which helped me was my selflessness to not question ki, Arey, tumko kya? Matlab, main director hu. That helped. Because I learned a lot from my team members, frankly.
वो I think, I mean, kudos to you for keeping an open mind that way because वो काफी बार नहीं होता है लोगों से. एक बार मतलब किसी से भी हो सकता है. Anybody on the team is kind of sometimes can go, ki, I am at this position, who are you to say how to do my job? I really don't like that, but it's very good. And I know I've been talking about how good this film is, but I do want to congratulate you because your film got selected at Bengaluru International Short Film Festival and International Documentary and Short Film Festival in Kerala. And these are Academy accredited
film festivals. Only in the country. Very well known.
So it is actually very... How did you get that? I mean, did you do it through Film Freeway or did you directly submit it? Because how did you get the announcment that, oh, this is, this, I got in here. Like, how did you know about that?
No, so I was doing my research when the film was about to get ready. I had a very clear discussion with my investor that, like you said, with a short film and people who are out there to make a short film, I suggest even when we talk about return on investments and all of that, you can think through with a short film. Now that there's so many OTT platforms, good YouTube channels, which can actually get your revenue back to some extent. Film festivals paying you money to win and all of that. If you win, you get good amount.
Right.
So you can plan a financial journey of your film as well. So when I had a chat with my investor, obviously I told her why I'm asking for this kind of money, because my production quality will be good enough. Looking at any good studio can pick it up if they like it. In terms of the quality.
Right.
Sorry, I again forgot the question.
No. So I basically I just wanted to know how did you figure out
the festival bit, right? Sorry, you're right. So one thing which I told her is that I showed her the journey. That once we make the film is ready, we'll put the film out on these festivals. We'll try, we'll submit.
Yeah.
So I had the research done beforehand.
Right.
And then I told her once the festival circuit is done, hopefully if we get selected somewhere, the name spreads and all of that, then we can go to potential distributors, which we'll do now because the festival still, a couple of festivals are still remaining, and then we'll take it to them.
Right.
So I was very clear with my journey. And when it comes to certain film festivals, I researched a lot about film festivals. Right. And yes, Film Freeway was... one of the platform which really helped. And so I think Bangalore directly happened from Film Freeway. I submitted it. They watched it. They liked it. I got the selection notice on Film Freeway,
that is a very... I even love how they do it. Those little congratulations.
Congratulations, all of that.
Confetti falls.
But the first result was IDSSFK Kerala, which was, I still remember, I mean, this is a very emotional moment for me, but when I saw, I think it was like 11:30 at night, I saw the mail. And the subject line was congratulations. I was like, okay. I opened it and they said IDSFFK. I called my wife, I cried. It was catharsis for me because I left my lucrative job to do this and it happened.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
I'm sure. And you also had your international premiere in
in
Toronto. This year or was it last year? This year.
South Asian Film Festival.
Yeah. Wow, that is fantastic. I don't know, like, firstly, this is very exciting for me because I'm meeting you for the first time, personally. And like I was saying, even when we were working, I don't think we actually got the time to sort of, sit down and have a chat over.
Couple of times we connected, but for like reference or here and there, that's it. Not like this kind of conversation.
Yeah. So actually, I'm very thrilled that I called you here, and thank you so much for agreeing to come here today because it was
nice to talk to you actually.
Great to hear your story. I had no idea about all this. मतलब थोड़ा सा जो आपने बताया था या फिर हमारे conversations में हुआ था, and that is why I was like, this is, and especially after I watched the film, I was like, I think I have to talk to this person. I think he has a lot of interesting stuff to say. But Raveesh, thank you so much for being here. It is and sharing your stories. It was absolutely fantastic to hear all of this. I learned so much from you. I can do much better in producing short films henceforth, or at least ask you 100 questions before I do anything. But
thanks a lot, Adi. I had a great time chatting with you.
Oh, thank you so much. So here we do a little bit of a tradition. So you're going to look into your camera. And so I'm going to give you a sentence, and you're going to fill in the adjective of it. So the sentence basically is that, hi, my name is Dash, Raveesh. And I felt Dash about sailing in the same boat with Aditya. So you're going to take your time and then you're going to say that. Or you can say it in the center camera as well.
So I need to put an adjective before my name?
No. Hi, I'm Raveesh. And I felt Dash about sailing in the same boat with Aditya.
Hi, my name is Raveesh, and I didn't feel like I was the captain of the ship sailing in the same boat with him, but I just found him to be the fellow traveler with me. It was a great time. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you so much. Guys, I hope you watched this episode up until here. If you did, that's amazing. If you didn't, that's okay too. But thank you so much for watching. Please do keep watching the show. Subscribe, comment, like, and share it with your friends if you liked it. And see you in the next episode. Bye.